My name is Kim Morgan with Woodlands Online, and I'm here today with Chris Grice, who is running for the Woodlands Township Board Director's position 4. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, we're happy to have you here. I guess, first of all, why is it that you're seeking this candidacy on the board?
Well, the Woodlands is going through a very pivotal time in its history. We've grown from a community 40 years ago to just a few thousand people with a grocery store and a restaurant to what we have today, which is a destination on its own. But we've gotten here today by working together, and not only from the businesses, but the residents, the local government, the county government, state government, and even federal government working to make the community what it is today. And one reason I decided to run is it's such a pivotal time, and the skill set that I think I bring to the table is my ability to build consensus, and we need to be able to do that if we're going to continue to grow and yet still maintain the Woodlands that we all know and love.
Overall, when we talk about the three main topics facing residents of the Woodlands and surrounding county today, what are those for you and how would you address them?
Okay, I think one is we want to maintain the vision that George Mitchell had for this community. That's very important. Mr. Mitchell risked his personal fortune at one time. I've had the opportunity to visit with people who were with him at the time, and there was a pivotal time in this that he brought his family together and said, "I'm going to risk our financial future because I believe in this so much." And he was right, and it worked out, thank God, for all of us, including him. So that's important to me, that we maintain the vision that Mr. Mitchell has for the Woodlands, which is that we live, work, and play well together. The other thing that is a very important issue for us now is incorporation. Incorporation needs to be well thought out. It needs to be done in a prudent and judicious manner, that we make sure that we get it right, because we only have one shot. And the other is mobility. Mobility as a group is another area that we need to take a hard look at. I recall sitting at the Economic Outlook Conference a few years ago. We had 3 of the major employers in the Woodlands at the time. It was almost eerie when the question came up, what is the biggest issue facing the Woodlands? And they almost in unison said mobility. That was eerie in the fact that here they are, the 3 major employers in our area, saying, you guys have got to figure out our mobility issues. How do we do that? We've got people who can put together a plan, which we've got the mobility study for South Montgomery County. We've got a plan. We just need to understand where we need to prioritize what we need to do that's going to get us the most bang for our buck. And then we've got to figure out how we're going to pay for it. And if I'm going to sit here today and tell you that Precinct 3 or the county can pay for it, not going to happen. I tell you TxDOT's going to pay for it, it's not going to happen. It's going to take the state, the county, and the township today, not waiting till we become a city, today. We don't have to. It's not our obligation. But our residents, including the businesses, including the individuals, expect us to govern. And that's part of governing, is doing what is right. And what is right is for us to fix this mobility problem.
You also say that there's no rush. We don't have to hurry anything in terms of incorporation or these big changes. Let's get all the information and make solid decisions.
Correct.
That is one of the things that you are saying is important to continuing to build the Woodlands and keep our community strong.
Yeah, one of the things that is the people that put the Woodlands or the township together in the legislation did a wonderful job. But that was designed to keep us from becoming annexed by the cities of Houston and Conroe. And they did a great job. We've got some powers that really, as a city, we would not have without some changes in the legislation. One thing that they didn't do is there are no provisions on how do we unwind a township and roll it into a city. In talking to people in the know in the legislature, they say that is a 2 to 3 legislative session process. There are some special interest groups out there that because we are a township, we're the only township in the state of Texas. It's a unique form of government. It is the out-of-the-box kind of government for us. It's not a perfect government, but it's what we have. We have some powers the city doesn't, and vice versa. So what this allows us to do is, what we're going to have to do is we have to understand what exactly do we need to go to the legislature with, which is being looked at now. The other thing is, the big gorilla on the block, as you would say out there, is right now our roads and bridges are maintained by the county. We're going to have to take that over if we become a city. We have absolutely no idea what that's going to cost us. So my stance on this is more about, we've got to do it. We need to do it right. We got one shot, but let's prepare ourselves for it. So let's start preparing ourselves, and let's start gathering all the facts. So when we do make a decision, we do go to the public, we're all comfortable with it. And there's a consensus among all parties involved that this is the next right move for the township. We can't afford to rush it. We can't afford to get it wrong.
Why now? Why are you throwing your hat in the ring this time around? Because you have been involved in the Woodlands for several years, as you've said, and it's your home life, it's your community. Why are you running now?
One is, I believe as I said, it's a pivotal time in the community. I think I have a skill set that will be helpful there. The other is, just naturally, we've had some outstanding individuals who have served our community in a great way for many years. They were instrumental in setting up the Woodlands as a township as we know today. People like Dr. Robb and Jeff Long. And when Dr. Robb decided to retire and concentrate more at the church and on his new position with the Methodist Hospital Board, it just seemed like the right time for me to go. I was asked to run 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And number one is, I took my election to the hospital board very seriously. I felt I made a commitment to the people to serve in that position. The hospital, again, the hospital district is probably one of the best run organizations in this county. It's financially sound. It is the best EMS service in the country. I don't say that, that's recognized. And again, no credit to me for that. It's just we hired good people. The board is very conscientious, and I feel like the hospital district's in great hands. My skill set, I think, right now could be better utilized on the township board. So that's why I've decided to run it this time. It just was the right timing.
Why do you think people and businesses find the Woodlands attractive?
I've talked to several of them that have moved here over the years. Some moved from California and some moved from other states, and they love it here. They love the ability that they're close to home. They can work here. They don't have to go into Houston to be entertained. They don't have to go to the medical center to be taken care of. They can get it all done right here, and that's very attractive, and it will continue to be attractive. And one other point I think I'd like to bring up: it's not just the Woodlands. The Woodlands is somewhat close to being built out. It's 5 to 10 years from being built out, but the areas all around the Woodlands is being built out, and it's going to be important that we have a good working relationship, as I said before, with our sister cities and county here, because we need to work with them, because what happens on the borders of our little township, or maybe even city at some point, is going to be very important as to how it affects us. If we're working well together, we can control that process as best we can. If we're not, then it could adversely impact us if we're not working well together. So we work, live, and play in the Woodlands. We need to work, live, and play well in our county also.
If you had to just pick one main contribution that you would make during your term on the board of directors, what would it be? What is your priority?
I think my professional background and my ability to work across different groups of people. I'm a consensus builder. In my business, you have to be. Whenever you're working with individuals of all different categories, and social economic backgrounds, you have to be a consensus builder. When you're putting a credit together, You have to be the representative for that individual or that company before the credit groups that make the decision within the bank. So you have to build consensus. You have to mitigate risk and things of that nature. And I've used that same skill set not only in my professional career, but I've used it in my public and in my charitable work that I've done also. So I think I bring that. I know I bring that skill set to the table that I think will be very beneficial. And I think that's a very important point that people need to understand, that with the pivotal time that we're getting ready to go through, with the decisions we're going to have to make, I can't emphasize enough how important it is that we don't have people coming into office with preconceived ideas, but they're open to all ideas and open to the fact that we've got to build a consensus and we've got to do this right. Because like I said, we've only got one shot to do it. Even if we don't become a city, even if we do, we still have to do it in a very measured and correct way. And that's what I think I bring to the table, is I'm somebody that will listen to all sides. I'll listen to the people. It might not be the decision that I would make, but if it's what the people want, you do what they want. It's not about Chris Grice. It's about what the people, and when I say the people, I'm not just saying the residents, the individuals, because the businesses are residents of this community too. They're the ones that create the jobs that are here in the community. They give back to this community. So that's how we built this community, again, is by working with businesses, the individuals, the government, all of us working together to make it what it is today. And I don't think we've done a bad job.
What do you want to say to stress the point, get out and vote in your own hometown?
This is, as you said, this is a very important election for our area. It's vitally important that people get out and vote. Early voting starts on October the 24th and goes through November the 4th, and then the big day is November the 8th. It's not only important that you get out and vote. If you go into the ballot box and you hit straight ticket and you don't vote down ballot, and by down ballot I mean if you hit straight ticket, you've not voted in the local elections. You have to go down ballot in order to vote in all the local elections. Not that we're not Democrat or Republican, that doesn't have anything to do with it. There are just issues that don't fall in the straight ticket category. The election of the township is one of those. So it's very important. You can hit straight ticket, but then go down to the bottom. It is vitally important that you go down to the bottom of the ballot and you vote in the local elections. Because if you don't, then you thought you had a voice in what happens here in the Woodlands when you really don't. So it's very important that people vote and that they vote down ballot.
Do you have anything else you would like to add?
You know, I just would ask people to seriously take a look at the election this time. You've got people that really care about this community. We don't do this because we have some hidden agenda. We do it because we love our community. I would be very thankful and blessed if you would allow me this opportunity to use what I've garnered over the years in my business and charitable organizations I've worked with. Use those traits to come in and to use that to help us move to the next step that we need to take. I'm not a politician. I have no hidden agenda. I just want to give back to my community. And if you'll allow me, I'll do the very best job I can for you.